Story time is brought to you by
शराकतदारी से कम्युनिटी की फलाह बहबूद के लिए ताउन पर यकीन रखने वाली तंजीम अमरीकन पाकिस्तानी एडवोकेसी ग्रुप अमरीकी निज़ाम से आगाही में मदद, पाकिस्तानी अमरीकी कारोबारी इदारों की रहनुमाई समेत दीगर इकदाम APEC का बुनियादी मकसद है। अमरीकन पाकिस्तानी एडवोकेसी ग्रुप, एंगेज, एम्पावर्ड एंड एलिवेट।
To the children living in Europe, Canada and the US, we say Assalamu Alaikum and we welcome you to this great story time session. And before we start our story today, let's see who have with us here today. Yes, miss.
My name is Harim Khan and I'm in grade 7 and I'm going to listen to the story you are going to tell.
Okay, so after Harim, who's here?
My name is Larib, I'm class 2E.
Larib from grade 2E. Wow. Yes.
Here it's Isha. I will going to ask you different questions.
Wow. Did you listen to her? What she said? She is going to ask us some very tough questions. Wow. So let's be ready. And yes.
Hey, there is Muhammad Mas Khan and I'm from grade 4.
Okay. Muhammad Mas Khan from grade 4. So should we start our story?
Yes.
Our today's story is about Hazrat Idris, the great prophet of Allah, and his story is given in Quran. Now after Hazrat Adam, people started to worship idols. Iblis made them go in the wrong path. So Allah sent Hazrat Idris. Now after Hazrat Adam's offspring were living in different places. And do you know what is offspring? What does offspring means? Anyone knows? Yes, offspring means the children. So Hazrat Adam had many children, mean he had many offsprings. And they went into different parts of the world and they started living there, making big cities. One of those cities was Babylon. Now this Babylon was a big city.
Where is Babylon?
Babylon is where today Iraq is. Iraq is a Muslim country now. Iraq is in which continent, do you know?
Asia.
Yes, good. Iraq is in Asia.
And Mesopotamia was the older name of Iraq.
Yes, Mesopotamia is the old name for Iraq. Now, at that time, Iraq was not a country. There used to be small cities. And one of those cities was Babylon. And people of Babylon made these big buildings. They had beautiful gardens. And they had lots of money. And once they became so rich, they forgot Allah. And you guys already know who made them forget Allah. Iblis. Iblis came to them and said, "You are so rich. You don't need Allah anymore." And they made them think that all the money they have has come from their own effort and Allah has not helped them. And people became so proud. They were so proudy.
They were just as proud as Iblis.
Iblis himself. See, this is how Iblis works. He wants people to be as proudy as he is. So people had so much money and food and expensive clothing and nice shoes and good horses and sheep and camels and gold, lots of it. that they thought that they are so powerful. And they forgot Allah. And the only thing they worshipped was idols. Because Shaitan said that you don't need Allah, but you need these idols. Pray to them. Can you imagine? All the money, all the things they had, all the gold was given to them by Allah. But they themselves were worshipping
Idols.
So sad, huh?
But they must have realized that they made the idols from their own hands and then they worship, so the idols can't give anything to them.
But they did not understand this. They became deaf and dumb. See, they had eyes, but they did not see the right
path.
things, the right path. They had ears,
But they couldn't listen the people telling them the right path.
right path. So now Hazrat Idris was sent to Babylon to guide these people. Now when you are so proud and you have so much money, you don't listen to anybody. So Iblis was making these people so rowdy. So once Hazrat Idris was there, very few people were listening to him. Only few people obeyed Hazrat Idris and starting praying Allah. The rest of the people were worshipping idols.
Why? Why is Iblis God biggest enemy of Prophet?
Because Iblis does not want people obey the prophets. And then he goes to people and tells them not to listen to the prophets. Because he's afraid that what would happen if people listen to the prophet? What would happen? What do you think? What would happen?
They will go into the right path.
Yes, they will go in the right path. So Iblis goes to people and tells them over and over and over again that don't listen to this prophet. And he gives them all kinds of reason. And one of the reason is that this is a man. He eats like you.
And it's just a human being.
It's
He's
just
just calling himself.
Yes. And people thought that they're so smart. And they said, yes. He is a human being because he eats like us and he sleeps like us and he walks like us. They think they're so smart, yet they're dumb. They don't realize that they are obeying Shaitan, Iblis. And that's what happens to people all the time, right? They think they're those so smart, yet they are making mistake. Have you noticed this all the time?
Yes.
People will be so proud of themselves and they will tell you, I think it is like this and this. I think I should not pray. I think that I should waste money. I think that I should abuse other people. And they're so proud of themselves. And they don't realize that all this is told to them by who?
Shaitan.
Shaitan. It's Shaitan who is making them think that way. Now, after many years in Babylon, Hazrat Idris had very few people who were obeying him.
Who was
became
Hazrat Shish?
Hazrat Shish was a son, great-grandson of Hazrat Adam. And he was a great-grandfather of Hazrat Idris. So Hazrat Adam had a son, and then his son was Shish, and his son was Hazrat Idris.
Why Hazrat Idris was named so?
Idris, yes, that's a very good question. Hazrat Idris was the first person who could write. Allah taught him how to write. And Babylon is the first city in the world where people could write. So even today, people have found so many tablets from Babylon.
Later.
Clay tablets. You know what is a clay tablet?
Yeah. People make clay tablets and they write on it with a pointed stick, and then they leave them in the sun to dry.
Yes. So they made this heavy, thick clay tablets like bricks, this size. And when they were wet, they wrote on it, and then they put it to dry in the sun. So people have, even today, have found so many tablets from Babylon. And all those tablets, all that writing was taught to people in Babylon by Hazrat Idris. So Hazrat Idris.
That's why he got the name Idris.
Idris means the one who writes. And Hazrat Idris loved writing. You guys love writing?
Yeah.
Yes.
So now you know today how you learned how to write.
But we become tired.
Yes. But Hazrat Idris loved writing. He wrote all the time. And he taught other people how to write. So we should be thankful to Allah that He taught Hazrat Idris how to write, so we can read things and write. Imagine, we couldn't have this book if Hazrat Idris didn't know how to write, and if he had not taught other people how to write. We can read books today because Hazrat Idris could write, and he taught other people how to write. Okay? So, due to people's continuous defiance, Hazrat Idris at times addressed them strictly too. Some days he would get very strict.
What was the strictness shown by Hazrat Idris?
Oh, he would talk loudly and his body language was very tough. Someday he would go and he would request them, please, I beg you, I request you, don't worship idols. Please come with me and pray to Allah. And someday he would be angry. He would
Someday he was patient and
Yes.
someday he would react.
react. He would say, I told you not to obey shaitan. I told you not to worship idols. Come with me right now.
But they were not.
And they were not listening to him while he was talking to them softly.
How
And he
did
was.
they behave?
They made fun of him. They cursed him. They spit on him. And they always wanted to kill him.
That's really gross.
Yes. And Allah protected him. You know, if Allah wouldn't have protected Hazrat Idris, they would have killed him right away. But Allah always had an angel with Hazrat Idris who was taking care of him. Otherwise, people of Babylon were very angry. And they were so rich, and they had such a strong army, and they had swords, they had arrows, they had all kinds of weapons that they could have killed Hazrat Idris just in a jiffy.
But they couldn't.
They couldn't. They couldn't. See, the whole city of Babylon wanted to kill one man, and they couldn't because Allah was protecting him.
Yeah.
So you know what is the message behind this for us?
That we should not judge the person that is spreading the message of
Of
Allah.
Allah, yes.
Or the person with whom Allah is, he is very,
Protected.
protected, courageous, and never
Courageous.
fear anyone.
Exactly. That when you put your trust in Allah, when you obey Allah, when Allah is with you, you should not be afraid at all. Because then Allah will be protecting you. Okay. So then what happens that after all these years, very few people became Muslim, and Babylon, the people of Babylon, went after them as well. They wanted to kill them.
Why did he decided to migrate?
Then Hazrat Idris decided to migrate with his people to another country. You know the name of that country?
Egypt.
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 In Arabic it's called Masr. Okay? And it's on the top part of Africa. And it's a Muslim country now. So Hazrat Idris told his people to leave Babylon and move to Egypt. Hazrat Idris thought and replied to his people, we should go to a place where we would worship Allah freely, and there we might find some people who would listen to us and accept Allah's orders. So Hazrat
Were
Idris,
his family Muslims or they were not?
they were also Muslims, yes. See, Hazrat Nuh's son was not Muslim, but Hazrat Idris' family was Muslim. They were good people. So, and the people who became Muslim were very poor. And Hazrat Idris knew that these poor people, poor Muslims, will be killed by the people of Babylon.
Didn't they force anyone to accept Islam?
No, they couldn't. They were few, and Babylon leaders and rich people and the army and people who had all the power were not Muslims. So they couldn't force
But
anybody.
they had the biggest power, Allah.
Allah, yes. And Allah wanted people to make their own decisions. Allah didn't want to force His decision on anybody. See, all of us, we are free. We can obey Allah or we don't. It's up to us. And it's the same way with everybody. So we are Muslims, that's our decision. We have decided to be Muslims. And somebody who doesn't want to be Muslim, then Allah leaves them. And Allah will throw them where on the day of judgment?
In the hell.
In
The hell.
So Allah's true prophet Hazrat Idris and his followers left Babylon for Egypt. There he carried on his mission, calling people to what is just and fair, teaching them certain prayers and instructing them to fast on certain days and to give a portion of their money to poor.
Charity.
Charity. So what Idris told his people to do? To worship, pray to Allah, salah, to do fasting, right?
And to give charity.
And to give charity.
These are among the 3 pillars of Islam.
Exactly. These are among the 3 pillars of Islam. So what are the other 2 pillars?
Hajj
Hajj
and Tawheed.
and Tawheed, Kalima. Very good. So that's what Hazrat Idris told his people to do. Now, once in Egypt, Hazrat Idris kept preaching to all the people about Islam, and many of the people there became Muslims. And at the end of his life, he said to his children,
So he died in Egypt, or in
Egypt.
Babylon?
No, in Egypt. He said, my sons, worship only Allah and live your lives with the true believers. And with this last message, the great prophet of Allah who invented writing died peacefully in Egypt. And when he died, Allah took him to heavens and he rewarded Hazrat Idris for his good work. put him with the rest of the prophets in Jannah.
Means he didn't curse his people for not listening.
Exactly, he didn't.
What an interesting story.
Yes. Did you like the story?
Yes.
Would you like to listen to another story tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay, children, with this story, we are looking forward to having you tomorrow for another session of story time when we will be listening to another great true story from Quran.
So the story
Till then-
we will just listen in the next tomorrow. It is going to be interesting more than this one.
Yes, tomorrow's story will be much more interesting. So till then, keep obeying Allah and keep listening to what your parents tell you, because listening to your parents is like obeying Allah. Thank you.
Story time was brought to you by
शराकत दारी से कम्युनिटी की फलाह बहबूद के लिए ताउन पर यकीन रखने वाली तंजीम अमरीकन पाकिस्तानी एडवोकेसी ग्रुप। अमरीकी निज़ाम से आगाही में मदद, पाकिस्तानी अमरीकी कारोबारी इदारों की रहनुमाई समेत दीगर इकदाम APEC का बुनियादी मकसद है। अमरीकन पाकिस्तानी एडवोकेसी ग्रुप, एंगेज, एम्पावर्ड एंड एलिवेट।